So this is the day that we're going to sit down and look at videos. I've been doing paperwork this week, getting ready. One of the things that's already happened is that we've already got some notes on our artifacts because we had some specifics in our rubric that we built in that looked at student organization and naming conventions, things that are important in the world of video editing. But we are looking at raw projects which don't necessarily carry all of that information. So we already have notes to ourselves to collect new student artifacts, including project files and screen captures from delivery and things of that nature. So the process has already generated some new thinking on our end.
Maybe. There you go.
This is what I was going to propose, guys. I was going to propose that we take a look at the student rubrics, just so that we get an idea for what the students thought that they were turning in for this, so that we kind of understand as we're evaluating what their expectations were based on what the final project is. Also give us an opportunity to ask any questions as far as clarification, like if we're evaluating organization and naming conventions, where's the evidence going to be, and Matt will explain some of the screen captures. Then I propose that by ourselves, we just choose 3 discs randomly, and we'll pass those 3 between the 3 of us. And we'll rate that without comment, and then we go ahead and take a look at those 3 sheets. The reason why I'm doing that is I'm worried sitting together and watching at once. There's going to be a bias, so someone's going to say, well, that's good, that's not good. Okay, and we'll be able to see whether or not we're in agreement as a group on the rating portion of it. You'll see on the rating sheets, which I put on your desk there, the upper portion there is to give us the project name and to do the rating and to comment on, for instance, if we're saying something is exemplary, we're saying something's inadequate, just a quick note as to why we think that, and that's for the discussion later on. The bottom portion, the grayed out portion, that's for the assessment on the assessment part of it. So if in doing this you suddenly realize something that has nothing to do with the assessment of whether the student's doing professional video, but something on, you know what would really make my job easier as I'm doing this if I had X.
You're talking about just the assessment process?
Just the process.
Okay.
In other words, if we come up with a feeling that this is the wrong project to be assessing, or maybe this is the wrong class to be assessing, that's what the bottom portion's for, and that's for the assessment on the assessment discussion for later. So we've already made additional, after watching the disc the first time, we decided that we had the setup a little bit wrong. So we're rearranging the setup. Instead of doing the rating based off the discs, we're going to do 4 sheets on the discs with some of the criteria taken off, and then we're doing some of our sheets on the individual stories that the students put together with other criteria selected. So all the criteria that are on the original, but we're just kind of splitting it up based on how the disc was actually put together.
There's the aesthetic and there's the technical. It seems like all of this comes back to that. There's the aesthetic and the technical part. There's like the, and even aesthetic choices, which is a lot harder to quantify.
It's our first pass with this rubric, but one of the notes that we'll be making will be how do we change the rubric if we're not capturing what we want to capture. So obviously story was something that we added before we met today, and I'm glad that we did that. Maybe that's part of story when we're talking about aesthetic. I have other notes here, like for instance, I've got notes on where do we put in composition, where do we put in stylistic editing, like if the editing is actually helping tell the story rather than just being a series of cuts that are pedestrian, look out, you've got to cut to this person because they're talking type of cuts. And how do we capture that? Okay, so here's a great example of why this is not about rating a single student. We're looking at a sheet for a single student project, and it has ratings on it. But when we pull back and we look at all of the projects together, then what happens is we can look across certain categories, and like I'm looking at audio here, and I'm going to see that no matter what student did it, didn't like it here, didn't like it here, didn't like it here, is okay here, didn't like it here. That's 4 out of 5 projects, which indicate to me a problem with how our students are creating the audio portions of their package. That says something. That means that we've got to take a look and see, is this class maybe too early to be evaluating that? Or are there things we're supposed to be doing in earlier classes to make sure that by this class they're handling audio in a way that's professional? And so that's another thing that we learned today.